This video is brought to you by
Cool Grain Clothing. We done gone worldwide and we coming straight out of Baltimore. Come on down, shop with us at 215 West Saratoga Street. And if you can't come and shop with us in person, go online right now at coolgrainclothing.com and make your purchase. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way, and that's just basic.
What's going on, YouTube, fam? This your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case for the day one, fam. Y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. Let's get right into the story. If you come from a certain environment, I'm pretty sure like me, you have pretty much heard your whole life. Be on point. Watch your surroundings. Watch yo over there. Why he keep on moving? What is shorty looking at? On your heels, he bopping up the block too fast with a hoodie on. It's almost like training somebody to be paranoid, waiting for something bad to happen. The way we are brought up and the things we see usually shapes how we view the world. If you grew up in a loving family in a gated community with not too much crime, you probably see the good in people and are likely more inclined to help a stranger or somebody in need if they approach you looking for something. On the flip side of that, if you come up in an environment with people struggling with addiction, shots going off over petty stuff, people getting took off and robbed for a little bit of nothing, it makes you more on edge and on guard, thinking somebody is always trying to be slick or have a hidden agenda. So you won't be so quick to just think somebody walking up to you is just asking for directions or a few dollars. Your mind goes back to an environment. You instantly think, like, what type of time is your on? Your body tense up, now you ready for action. I won't downplay being on point. It definitely can save your life in these crazy times we live in. But we have to ask ourselves, is it a such thing as being too aware, too trained to go that we don't even recognize when the situation doesn't even call for all that? And when you are so set in a mindset of being on point, a normal, everyday encounter can become fatal. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we'll be discussing the case of a man who tried to help a neighbor, but her boyfriend thought he was trying to pull a move. Back in 2020, 51-year-old Roderick Daniels, who friends and family called Big Rod, had made a good life for himself in Baltimore. Originally from New Orleans, after graduating high school in '86, Rod decided he wanted to serve his country, joining the Army at age 18. After basic training, he enrolled in college at the University of Southwest Louisiana in Lafayette, where he played football and studied behavioral science, all the way up until he was called for duty. Rod got deployed and went to serve a tour in Desert Storm in 1990. From there, he served many more tours, earning many medals, becoming a well-decorated soldier. After serving his country for over 34 years, leaving with his rank being Sergeant First Class, he landed in Baltimore and took a job in logistics management at the U.S. Army Reserve. The father of 9 also got involved in the community. Being a member of the Maryland Board of Football Officials, Big Rod started refereeing high school football games and mentoring kids. In his downtime, he enjoyed spending time with his family and definitely looking out and helping out others. Big Rod, a southern boy at heart, had that hospitality and always spoke to his neighbors and knew them all in his West Baltimore community. Now what he called home was located in the 5600 block of Haddon Avenue. One of his neighbors at the apartment complex was a younger woman who was in a relationship with a young man, at the time 21-year-old Shavon Edwards. On a summer night, June 2nd, 2020, Rod and another neighbor, a 35-year-old man, noticed their neighbor, the young lady who was in a relationship with Shavon, had left her keys in the door. The two men, concerned that somebody could easily enter the apartment, knocked on the door, keys in hand, to inform the young lady. But her boyfriend was walking in at the same time. Seeing the two men by his girl's front door, Shavon asked, "What y'all doing at my girl's house? What you doing at her door?" When Rod tried to explain the situation, that she left her keys in the door and they were just returning them, Shavon wasn't trying to hear all that and felt the men was on some other type of time. Seconds later, multiple shots went off. People in the building and a few witnesses called BPD, who responded to the complex to find Rod and the other man suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. They was both rushed to Sinai Hospital, where the one neighbor who was knocking on the door with Rod would survive his injuries, but unfortunately, Rod would not. Police went back to the building to speak to witnesses, and many people gave the same story. The two men were neighbors and trying to return the young lady's keys, and her boyfriend shot them. Police noticed video cameras around the complex and saw footage of the initial encounter, but the shooting was outside of the camera's view. But in the video, they heard a young woman they assumed was the girlfriend call Shavon's name, asking, like, "What did you do?" A warrant was put out for the young man for first-degree murder and attempt charges. And just a few weeks after Rod was laid to rest by fellow soldiers and family, Shavon was picked up in Baltimore County. As the case started making its way to trial, his attorney argued he approached the man, but there wasn't no evidence he was the shooter because the actual shooting wasn't caught on camera. But with statements from witnesses, a surviving victim, Shavon was done. After Rod's family gave an impact statement saying how much he was loved and how much love he had for people in the community, how the man survived the worst kind of combat just to come home and lose his life for trying to help someone. The judge agreed, and in the end, at 24 years old, Shavon was found guilty of second-degree hit, which got him 40 years plus 30 years for attempt, 20 for the use of a firearm during a violent crime, plus another 3 slices for the gun. All that time to be ran wild, and a total of 93 years in prison. Rest in peace to Roger. I send my prayers and condolences to his family, especially his 9 kids. To look at both sides, I can see why at 11 o'clock at night in West Baltimore, Shavon was on edge, concerned about 2 men being at his girlfriend's door with keys in their hand. But if you already on point with your blick, once they announced they were neighbors and she left her keys in the door, he could have just said, "Oh, all right, I'm her boyfriend," appreciated, took the keys, and said, "All right, fellas, I got it from here. I will let her know to be more careful. Good looking." But like I spoke about earlier, that trained to go mentality, ready for war, you would think Rod, who was a real Army vet, would have been more on that type of time. But unfortunately, Shorty let his paranoia cause him to take a life. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Do you think you would have reacted the same way as Shavon, or evaluated the situation and took it for what it was? Or let me know if you ever overanalyzed a situation or struggle with always being on point. Maybe a little bit too much where it's borderline paranoia. And let me know, how do you handle it? Yeah, man, crazy story. Rest in peace to Rod. I definitely send my prayers and condolences to his family. But I ain't gonna talk too much more about this one. I definitely wanna know what y'all think. Leave it in the comments. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. It's another episode of the Baltimore Way. It's your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out.